Welcome back to K-Man Builds. In this episode today I have my wife's 2008 BMW 328i in the shop. This has the N52 engine in it. And we've had a few issues with it over the last couple of weeks that have kind of reared their ugly head. And so I'm going to go over a couple of the symptoms and then kind of go back to what I think caused the issue. So symptoms are kind of this. I have a small oil leak that was coming from somewhere toward the front. Wasn't really sure about where it was coming from, to be honest with you. I didn't really put much effort into it because it's a 2008, this is 2024. Old vehicle, I just kind of like, okay, it's leaking a little oil, not that bad. Other symptom was rough idle. When I say rough idle, meaning once it gets warmed up, when you're sitting at a light, foot on the brake, it idles around 500 to 600 and just kind of bounces down there a little bit. Not a big deal, but it ran kind of rough down there. At speed, it ran fine, didn't really give me any issues. So I just kind of let it go, didn't really give it much thought. About 2 weeks ago, my wife calls me up, she says, hey, the car stalled on me when I was at a red light. It started right back up, drives fine, but it stalled. It happened to her twice. I get in it, I can see that it's running kind of rough, check codes, and I start getting a map sensor code. I'm like, all right, fine. So order the map sensor, about $200 for the part, and it didn't fix anything. So then I started looking at, okay, what other problems can be causing this? And obviously, when you're running a rough idle like that, and you start getting map sensor, somewhere that motor is getting air in. So I started checking for leaks all over the place. The little, I can't remember what they call it, a little servo motor that's on top of the engine, pulled that motor off, and there was oil down in the valley. So I replaced that gasket behind it, brand new, got it all cleaned up, put it back together, still getting the same code. Clear the code, let it run for a little bit. It runs fine, still running kind of low, but it's giving me that code. So I went ahead and decided, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and change the vanos solenoids. It's 2008, I've never changed them, probably a good idea to do that. So now I've changed map sensor, the gasket around the servo motor, and the vanos solenoids. Not fixing anything, okay? I told the wife, look, the only other thing I think it could be is gonna be the oil filter. Maybe there's something in there that's plugged up and it's not flowing oil like it's supposed to, and that's giving me a funky code. I hop in it, start going to town. I get about 4 or 5 miles down the road. Suddenly, as I get to a stop sign, hard to steer. I pull over, and when I do, there's oil about 5 or 6 foot from where I just stopped, just all over the place. I pop the hood, the belts come off because there's oil everywhere on the front of the motor. So it appears that the crankshaft seal has gone completely out. Now for the history. About a year ago, wife's driving in town, calls me, says, hey, it got really, really hard to steer, and then it just died. Had it picked up, taken to the shop. That's done a lot of work for me. They called me, hey, said the belt came off, shredded itself, and wrapped itself around the crankshaft pulley behind it. This happens on this motor, some motors like this, from what I hear. They got it all cleaned up, put a new belt on it, hey, you're good to go. I didn't think nothing of it. Now looking back, it appears they did not change that crankshaft seal. So that thing's been messed up, which I think has been leading to a slight air leak into the motor, causing this thing not to run right. So we're gonna tear into this thing, into the front of this thing, and go ahead and change out that seal. The part costs less than 20 bucks. But the kit, the tool kit to get it removed is, I found on Amazon for about 80 bucks. So I had to wait for that to come in. But we're gonna tear into that thing. It's not a hard job, but it does have to be done. It's better to do it with the tool just because that thing has to go in there perfectly flush all the way in. So we're gonna get at it. Here we are inside the motor. I have already removed the air box and the little intake that's right here. And so part of what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to pull off this fan motor assembly to get it out of the way so that we have enough room to get down in there and get that pulley off and then be able to get the tool in there. From what I gather, once you get the fan off, you should have enough room to get in there and get the pulley, and then there's enough room to get that tool in there with that bolt to pull that out. So in order to get the fan out, we're going to have to obviously unplug it, and I believe there's only one screw holding it in over here, and then it has some clips down there that you have to kind of release and just pull up on. I think this screw over here is like a Torque 25, a T25, And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove this little hose that runs across over here, just because I don't want to make sure, I don't want to break it. So I'm going to go ahead and pop it off. This is a 6mm. Slide that off. A little bit of antifreeze come out, not too bad. And we're going to get this out of the way. Now the plug has connectors on both sides, just squeeze them in and it slides right off. And the screw is located right here. Make sure I don't lose that. So if you look down beyond, down below here, you'll see that it's just kind of clipped in here. And then on the other side, it's got a little bit more to it. There's actually something kind of holding it there, it looks like. So we're going to go ahead and pop that out. So there's one other spot I forgot. When you come up underneath here, there's this, I'm not even sure what this thing is, but it has a lot of hoses from the radiator coming in, and it has a screw, I believe it's a T25 as well, right there. So we're going to pop that thing out and see if that's the... All right, so yeah, that one screw loosened it right up, and I think we should be able to pull it out now. Yeah, it's getting stuck on stuff. Let go, my ego. Thank you. Next step is going to be to pull off the balancer and or crankshaft pulley, whichever you want to call it. And it uses a E10 bit, and we're going to try to see if we can do this without turning anything. All right, so that is 6 of them, and it pops right off. So, well, kind of hard to tell if there's a whole bunch of oil. I mean, there's oil in here, but I did an engine degreaser, so that may have cleaned it all up behind it. Kind of surprised it did, but it may have. All right, we're going to shove you down in there and see if you can tell me what you see. So this is the kit that I bought off Amazon. Doesn't even have a name on it, but you've got the main piece that bolts onto the flywheel, actually I should say the crankshaft, right? And then this is the piece that I'm going to use. It's kind of a tapered threaded piece, and basically once you have that on there, you slide this over, and then you're going to turn this with the wrench until it gets all the way in there as far as you can go. And then you're going to back it out on here so that it pulls this thing out somehow. Alright, so this is the extraction tool that I'm going to use. They come with two different kinds. This is the kind that's got a tapered thread. Thread this in there and then put in the bolt, and it pulls the whole thing out. The other kind actually has just like a flange with a whole bunch of screws in it, and you have to put the little screws into the rubber gasket all the way around it and then pull it out. I'm going to try this first. Alright, mine uses a 27mm. See what this does. pretty tight. So I think we're going to try to thread this in. This one will be a little. Okay, we're going to thread in the smaller bolt and see if that works or not. Running out of threads. Oh, there it goes. All right. This one is an 18 millimeter. And it didn't come out. All right, let's try that again. So I'm going to thread it in farther this time. All right, that's pretty snug. And wow, starting to think this thing's so ate up that it's just blown out. There's only about 2 threads left on that thing. I think we got success this time. All right. So here's the new one, and when you're looking at it, you see how you've got those nice little ridges all the way around it. Look at this one. That thing is just chewed up something fierce. Let's see if I can get that. There it goes. Look how chewed up that is. Yeah, so I suspect that was probably my issue right there. So we're going to go ahead and put this back on. The one thing we have to do now is, before we put it back on, is where these little cutouts are, down there, there's a seam right here. And there's a seam here, and it's basically where the two halves meet. So you have to make sure you put your high temp RTV inside the little groove, and then the little grooves, one on each side, they line up with that little joint right there where they meet up. Okay, next we're going to install the installation tool. Mine uses 3 6mm bolts, I should say 6mm hex bolts. We're going to put this on there just loose until all of them are started, and then we'll tighten it up. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and install some some RTV. I'm using Permatex Gray high temp. I don't think it really matters as long as it's some good high temp RTV. Come on. And it should squeeze out on its own, whatever's left over. I'm going to slide it off and just kind of start it. in the spot. Apparently I didn't need that. I'm just kind of lining up that seam. All right, so we line that up. Now we're going to get the installation tool. It's basically just this little cup here that slides on. It's supposed to hit it nice and flush. What size is this? Well, mine is a 24 millimeter. And this should go on nice and smooth and straight. And I don't have a 22 shallow, so I'm going to have to use this. Well, it's not 22. What size is that? I may end up using a crescent wrench. It may be a size I don't have. Yeah, it is a 24, but I don't have a shallow, so I'm going to have to do it by hand here. And that's nice and tight. Cool, nice and flush. Even got a little extra RTV coming out. Now we can put everything back together. Hopefully. So we have gotten everything back together. Basically just a reverse process, not too difficult. And I think we're going to be good with this. So not a hard project overall, but definitely one that has to get done correctly. Otherwise you have a lot of issues and it's just hard to chase down. Well, it has been a few months, let's say several months. If you're paying attention, you probably noticed my hair is quite a bit longer too. It turns out that I forgot that I never finished the closing bit for this video, and I never finished editing the video. I was working on another video the other day and I brought up my program and there's this video sitting there. I'm like, oops, so we're gonna go ahead and shoot this and get it done. It's been probably about 3 or 4 months, I think, since I've done this. And surprisingly, that one issue, that front seal, took care of all the problems I had running this thing. The map sensor issue, the Vanos problem, all those codes I was getting all came down to the fact that I was getting air into the motor through that front seal. It's really hard to believe that, you know, something that's that far down you would think wouldn't be sucking air in, but it definitely does. There are easier ways to troubleshoot this thing. I would advise you to do it. Amazon, or the Jungle website as we like to call it, has these smoke machines, and basically you just take the air duct off, you shove that smoke machine on there, it starts pumping the engine full of smoke, and then you can see it coming out holes. Anywhere it comes out, it shouldn't be coming out. So too much air in this system, it just starts causing all kinds of issues, and you start getting codes for stuff that's not really a problem. So at the end of the day, I ended up putting several new parts in here, map sensor, Vanos, that were not bad. Having said that, I got almost 250,000 miles on these things, so probably due to change anyway. So not a bad thing. I'm not upset that I did that, but it's running good now just because of that one little problem. So hope this helps you out in any problems you may have. If you enjoyed the video or like the channel, just like and subscribe below.